for the four of you who've turned on your cameras. Oh, thank you. Hi, Anna. Nice to see your face. And Julia, and Lee, and Flavia, and Daria. I invite everyone to turn their cameras on. One day my seeds will change. My words will have power. Today is not the day. It's okay. I've been dealing with that lately where, you ask the same thing over and over again. And then, by the way, I have a Jewish mother. I'm an expert at guilt. It is clearly not working with this crowd, though. Hi, Victor. Thank you. I've been dealing with this karma lately where my words don't have power, and it's very frustrating, and an annoying karma. And so I'm going into retreat soon to do 100,000 mantras to try to juice up my speech. Let's do a mandala prayer. Oh, you're not on the Zoom? Are you having trouble? Why don't you get onto Yulia's? Okay, we'll do can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. We'll do the mandala. Hi, Lee. Okay. Um, and I invite you also to turn on your microphones so it's not just me doing the mandala prayer, because I'm sure you all sing better than I do. Okay, here we go. Sashi Purgi Chukshing Metotram Rirabdingshi Ninde Kyampati Sangye Chingdu Mikpe Hokwarki Droku Namda Shiva Jubarshu Viram Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniriyasayami. Okay, so I believe this, I say this every class, but I mean it. Hi, Olga. I do believe this will be a shorter class. And so if you have questions, we can take them at the end. And in Geshe Michael style, the questions can be about anything. It doesn't just have to be about this class. And I'll do my best to answer them. Personal questions or not personal questions or questions about other ACI courses are fine. So you can think about it in case we have time at the end. Okay. So I wanted to talk more about dedication. We sort of rushed through it last time, and I wanted to spend a little more time on it because as I mentioned in a previous class, it's really, really important for banking your good seeds. You know, my mom, like, she worked her whole life. She was a social worker at a high school, and it came with a good pension. So when she like finished working, she had the money she saved, and she sold her apartment, and then she had this pension, and um, she had all this money in the bank that was just sitting there, but it wasn't making any interest. So then I don't understand economy things very well, but there's something called inflation. So the value of the dollar, like in 1985, is very different than the value of a dollar in 2026. So as her money was sitting in the bank, it actually was losing value, right? Like the money that she made in 1985 in 2020 was now worth like a lot less because she didn't invest it, and get interest and have stock thingies go up and such. Don't ever take stock advice from me, by the way. I clearly don't understand the economy at all. But but I do understand karma. So when you dedicate your merit, that's like not only putting your karma in the bank, but it's also letting it grow. And you're getting a lot of like interest. And then there's something called compound interest, where the interest goes on top of the interest. Yulia understands money better than me. She's like, yes, you can give me financial advice after class. Um, and so we want to make sure that when we do our good deeds, or when we do anything, like anything at all as a bodhisattva, you can dedicate. You can even dedicate going to the bathroom. You can say, I'm gonna say it politely, peeing for the sake of all sentient beings. I am releasing the fluid in my body so that I can go help more people. Because if I have a heavy bladder, I can't help anyone. Really, I know it's silly, but we all have to pee like, I don't know, 5, 10 times a day. You might as well use the things that you're already doing um, to to build on your bodhicitta and to build your seeds, okay? So everything you do, you can dedicate towards bodhicitta or enlightenment. And, as I mentioned previously, you could dedicate your deeds to like making more money, or if you're lonely, you can dedicate it towards having a partner, or if you've been out of work for some time or you're directionless, you can dedicate your good deeds to getting a job or to having direction in your life. But the thing is, like, if you get enlightened, then you get all of those things. Like, you'd never be lonely if you were a Buddha, because as soon as someone needs you, you're there. And you don't need money as a Buddha because you could just emanate your own money. What was the other thing? And you will have the most meaningful job ever because you're a Buddha. So you'll get all the things you ever wanted. You don't have to like be dedicating to small short-term things. The big, I want to become a Buddha, or I want to see emptiness, or I want to get bodhicitta for the sake of all beings. Every other thing in the world comes under that umbrella. But dedicating your deeds to I want more money, not much comes under that umbrella. Much less comes under the money umbrella or the partner umbrella, or what other things? The health. No, health is a little different because if you don't have a health, I would say health is a little different because if you don't have a healthy body, then you can't really practice and then you won't be able to reach those goals. And the healthy body lets you live longer so you can practice longer and so you can help more people. So, in my opinion, the only worldly thing that's worthwhile to dedicate to would be health, because you have more time to get enlightened in this holy body that you are given. That's extremely rare. So, I think, in my opinion, health would sort of fall under the other ones and would not be a waste of time. Um, and like I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with money. We all want money. We all want, well, most people want a partner. Most people want fulfilling work and meaning in their life. I'm just saying that if you dedicate it towards seeing emptiness directly, or bodhicitta or Buddhahood, it's like faster. You don't have to make all those other dedications because they all fall under the umbrella of bodhicitta, Buddhahood, or seeing emptiness directly. Okay? You guys understand? Okay. So let's just do like a little experiment. We don't have to do it as a formal meditation or anything, but I want you to think about a good deed you did. Well, some of you, it's very early. I don't know, even coming to Dharma class could be a good deed today, but think about something you did. You could either think about something you did in the last 24 hours, or you can think about a really like cool thing that you did in the last year. Like, I raised money for a little girl who was begging on the street in Nepal. And I just had some feeling this girl was special. And I sponsored her to go to school so she doesn't beg on the street anymore. And I sponsored her to have English classes. And I raised money for her to move out of a shack. And now she lives in an apartment with a roof and walls. And some people on this call, thank you, actually donated for her. And she's doing very well now. Um, and so that for me is like, that was really good. I'm like, good job. And I feel really happy about it. So I'm going to dedicate that deed. I want you to think about something you've done. It doesn't have to be something that big. That's like the best thing probably I ever did in my life. But we all have something really nice and big we did, or even something small you did in the last 24 hours to help someone else. And then I want you to think about the thing you did. And you can think about the emptiness of yourself. So if you had different seeds, you'd be hearing different things in your mind. Maybe you'd be hearing, if you had Wilbur seeds, maybe you'd be hearing um, that floor comfy, water need, bone want. Or if you were a Buddha, you would just spontaneously be loving all beings and serving all beings. So think of the emptiness of yourself. And then think of the emptiness of the act that you did. So for me, I would think I have my seeds, and the little girl I was helping has her seeds. And if I'm able to help her, it's because she has her own seeds. She's able to perceive herself as being helped, and I'm able to perceive her as being helped. So that's the emptiness of you, the emptiness of the person you're helping, and then the emptiness of the act that you did. Maybe someone else looked at that act and thought that was a real waste of time to waste your money and resources on a little, homeless kid from Nepal. And maybe someone else met that child and thought she was an enlightened being and worthy of all the offerings we could possibly give her. And then dedicate this deed, dedicate the goodness that you've done to being able to help all beings on all the planets. So I'm going to think about all the little girls and all the boys and all the in-betweens on all the planets. And may I become a beacon of light for them so that they never go hungry. They always have exactly what they need. They always have shelter and food and clean water so that they can become Buddhas themselves. Okay, good. And then Jack, can you show that photo? You could show the first one. So this is Ngoa. The Tibetan for dedication is Ngoa. Everybody say Ngoa, Ngoa. So when you see that the Nga, sometimes it's Nga, low tone, but when it has a prefix or a head letter, it's the second letter. It's Ngoa, it's high tone. Ngoa. Ngoa, good. So Ngoa means dedication, and this is a picture of a lady planting. AI was so smart today, you guys. And then AI got really dumb. But AI started out really smart and just gave me this. This was like the first photo when I said, give me a picture of someone dedicating a good deed they did. They just happen by coincidence to be planting a tree that's going to grow into something very large. Um, so this is you doing your like act of goodness. And then show the next one, Jack, please. And this is you dedicating your karma. I will speak. I thought I was speaking so slowly, but I will slow down. So this is you. I don't know why she's a giant. I tried to make her smaller and AI just kept getting dumber, so I gave up. But this is you dedicating your good deeds to all the beings. So you can, when you dedicate your deed, when you're giving the karma away, you can like visualize light coming out of your chest if you want to. You don't have to. I just thought it's a nice image. And like in later meditations that you'll learn, you will be sending light out of your chest. So you might as well just start now. And red is a nice color to send out of your chest, or like clear light is nice to send out also. So that's dedication. And obviously, like if you just peed, you probably won't do like such a long dedication because you'll never leave the bathroom and your roommates will be sad and unhappy and get urinary tract infections. So you can just do a shorter one, like I dedicate this deed so that all beings can be happy and free, and may I deliver everyone to enlightenment as quickly as possible. Or a shortcut is I dedicate this to becoming a Buddha. That works too. Okay. But like, if there's things missing in your spiritual life, like you don't have a steady meditation practice, and you'd really like to, then you can dedicate your deeds for a while to that. Like I dedicate eating this meal so that I can be strong enough to be a good meditator. Or if you have a hard time retaining, remembering information you learn in Dharma class, you can dedicate the deed towards being a better student so that you can become a teacher who can help all beings. And, like really, you can take that down. In my experience as a student and as a teacher, you really learn the material best by teaching it. Um, there's like the karmic element that obviously you just learn it better by teaching because that's the karma of becoming smarter is that you're teaching people things. But on even just the mundane level, like it would be so embarrassing if I showed up to class and I didn't know what I was supposed to teach you. Like this thing is going on YouTube, people will watch it. If I just got up here and didn't even know what I was talking about, it would be really embarrassing. Geshe Michael would be ashamed of me. ACI would be ashamed of me. My ego would hurt. So you're forced to study hard when you teach. So I just would encourage you guys to like, don't be afraid to teach. Don't be afraid to just share with your friends. But if you're going to teach, be prepared. Okay. Okay, good. That's dedication. Yay. Okay, now we're moving on to today's class. Hmm. I love teaching dedication. I think it's so nice. Okay, so does anyone remember the steps that we needed before we get bodhicitta? Like the things that the preliminaries that were necessary for bodhicitta? Does anyone remember? Yes. Okay, Flavia, good. You'll have to say it and translate for yourself. Okay, yeah, rejoicing. What else? Urging holy beings to teach. Yeah. What else? What? Purification. And what did we need to do first in order to purify? Yeah, you need to have a good intention. You need to set your intention. Yeah. And Yulia said we need to make offerings. Yep. What else do we need to do for before we do our confession? If you know the seven preliminaries to meditation, they're all in there. What's the first thing you do? Good, prostrations. Yay. What else do we do as preliminaries to meditation and confession? Refuge. What do we do after refuge? Offerings. Good. Okay. I'm sure you're all doing your meditation preliminaries every day. And next time we'll all know the answers very quickly. Okay. So like I said, it's not a coincidence that our preliminaries to meditation are the same preliminaries that we need. I'm going to stop trying to read the chat because then I get distracted and then I don't, also there's everything is in Russian and I don't understand it. Okay. So it's not a coincidence that the things we need for our confession to work are also the things we need in our seven preliminaries before we start to meditate. So if you're doing the seven preliminaries before you meditate, then you're already doing the things you need to prepare for confession, and then you're already doing the things you need to get bodhicitta. Okay. So how many people do the seven preliminaries before they meditate? Uno, dos, tres. Really? Seriously? My own student doesn't do them. Okay. Olga sort of does them. Okay. Ooh, you guys look guilty. Okay. Uh, oh, wow. Okay. So sitting down to meditate without doing the preliminaries is like, oh, I just thought of a really dirty example. I shouldn't use that one. Now I can't think of anything but that example. This is hard. Sitting sitting down to meditate without doing the preliminaries would be like sitting down to eat your meal without doing the grocery shopping or cooking the food. Or maybe you did the grocery shopping, but you didn't cook the food. And now you just have a bunch of raw vegetables in front of you. Like you can eat it, but maybe you'll get a stomach ache and it won't be very delicious. It's like getting the eggs and the milk. Sorry, it's not a vegan cake. And the chocolate and whatever else goes in a cake. And then just eating those ingredients without cooking the cake is not going to taste as good. And it just doesn't come together right. I think you understand my metaphors. So, so you guys should start to do the preliminaries to meditation. It just prepares your mind. It's like our minds are crazy these days. Like, how many of you have a smartphone? We all have who doesn't here have a smartphone? Should be the question. Really? Daria, you don't have a smartphone? Anna, you don't have a smartphone? You have a flip phone? Like a flip? Wow. Really? Wow. Okay. Oh, you have a smartphone. I see it. Okay. So our minds, we're scrolling so much. It's so hard for our minds to focus these days. Um, you need a warm up or basically just your meditation will be the warm up. It takes time for the mind to settle before you meditate. It just does. Your mind, if you're not like in retreat, then you have lives are busy, you have families to take care of, you have endless anxiety, you have all the things from your past that you're thinking about. My new thing in meditation is like, what happened to so and so? Like so and so that I graduated from high school with 30 years ago and forgot existed until my meditation this morning. That's my new thing. Um, so yeah, his ears are bothering him. Wilbur's ears are bothering him. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing some strange dog noises. And then we're either thinking about the strange guy we forgot existed from high school 30 years ago, or we're thinking about all the things we have to do tomorrow. That's not meditation. That's just being an anxious person and sitting still for 20 minutes. Okay. So, what you need to do is you need to warm up your mind. And you warm up your mind by chilling out your mind and making space in your mind for meditation to happen. And that's what happens during your preliminaries. So, we're all going to start doing our preliminaries. And the preliminaries should not take an hour. Okay. The preliminaries should be like 8 to 10 minutes. My preliminaries are 8 to 12 minutes. Okay. And you shouldn't spend like, don't spend like 20 minutes on inviting your teacher to come and then you have to rush through the rest of the things. You should measure them out. And if it's like at the beginning, if you have to set a timer every minute for 9 minutes, it's weird, but you can do it. And then your mind will eventually get used to 1 minute for this, 1 minute for offerings, 1 minute refuge, 1 minute confession, 1 minute rejoicing. Okay, most of us spend like 10 minutes on confession and 5 seconds on rejoicing, or we space out during the rejoicing, but we're super focused and weepy during the confession. But that's not the point. The point is equal time given to every single preliminary because every preliminary is equally important. Okay. The other thing that sets the stage for bodhicitta, another practice, is called Ganden Lhagyama. Has anyone heard of Ganden Lhagyama? So Ganden Lhagyama, good. Is it Anastasia or is it Anastasia? Or is it Anastasia? How do you say your name? All of them.
Anastasia, yes, all of them, no matter.
Anastasia. Uh, Anastasia. Okay, thank you. So Ganden Lhagyama is the Tsongkhapa mantra practice. And it's a very wonderful practice that you guys should learn. If you would like to learn it, I'm happy to teach it at some point. Just tell me if you'd like it. You can ask me. Um, okay, we can do it. It's a really important practice. And most of us, that was like our first solitary retreat was a Tsongkhapa mantra retreat. If you don't have a heart lama, or if your heart lama is very distant, it's a very wonderful way to magnetize them and force them to come and be with you. Um, really, it's a very powerful practice. Um, and it very much prepares you for diamond way meditations. Um, like when you learn Diamond Way after you've done the Tsongkhapa mantra recitations and meditations, you're like, oh, I'm totally prepared for these meditations already. And so every verse in the Ganan Klagyama which means like the thousand angels of the heaven of bliss. And Ganden is Jetsongkapa's heaven. It's his paradise. It's called Ganden. So and Hla means like God or angel, and then well, Gyama really means 100, but Geshe-la translated it as 1,000. So so every verse in that prayer is really a preliminary to meditation, which means it's a preliminary to Dikpa Shakpa, which means confessing your bad deeds, which means it's preparing you to get bodhicitta. So we can do that sometime. Maybe after my long retreat, we can do a class on that. I think that would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay. Okay, good. Um, so today, now we've moved to today's class. We're going to talk about something called Gawa Gompa. Everybody say Gawa Gompa. Gawa Gompa. Yeah, so Gawa means happy. We had a friend named Gaga. It was his nickname, and it just means like happy, happy. So the AI was so smart, crazy smart today. I said, make me a picture of someone rejoicing. And they made me this picture of a lady holding her cup of coffee. Why do I think that that's amazing? Can someone tell me why I think that's the most amazing thing that AI gave her a cup of coffee when she was so happy? Who knows? Because of coffee meditation. Yay! I'm giving myself $100 for that answer. Um, right. So there's this thing called coffee meditation that some of you may be familiar with. And that's where you rejoice and you're happy about the good things that you've done. And you hold a cup of coffee. This is actually water, but you hold a cup of coffee and you think about all the good deeds you did and you feel happy about it. Why do you think we have to hold the cup of coffee or chai when we're doing our happiness meditation? Why do you think that is?
More relaxing.
Janet says it's more relaxing. Anyone else have an idea? To stay awake, that's cute. Yeah. Ritual, that's nice. What?
Please.
It pleases us. My thought is that you can't drink a cup of coffee quickly, can you? Because you'll burn yourself and you'll get jittery and weird. It's not coffee meditation it's not water meditation. You can drink water in 10 seconds. It's a trick. Geshe-la tricked all of us. It takes time. You have to, first of all, you have to make the coffee. Then you have to wait for it to cool down. Then you have to drink it, and it takes time. So it's a trick to force you to spend more time rejoicing. It's cool. I literally just figured that out when I was looking at this picture just now. I think it's the other things too. It makes you happy. It's a ritual. It's relaxing. It keeps you awake. But I think it really has to do with the amount of time it takes to drink a cup of coffee. Okay, good. Next picture, please. Okay.
You want that?
No, we'll get to that in a second. You can take it down. So Gompa means to practice or meditate or get used to, and Gawa means joy. So this is about having joy and then dwelling and staying within that joy, which I thought was really nice. So this is a very important step in getting bodhicitta. And when it was taught in this class, they focused on the joy that you feel after you get your bodhisattva vows. So after you either do the ceremony where you take the like bodhicitta in the form of a wish or in the form of an action. But I'm not giving Bodhisattva vows because I don't give vows online. I think I just don't, for me, I need to be in the room with people and like have seen their faces and stuff and know them a little before I give vows. But for the class that Geshe-la taught in 1995, he was giving the vows at the end of the course. So it made sense he was talking about it. But so I just want to talk about just having joy in general. Or if you have taken your vows, and maybe like me, you took your vows a really long time ago, and you don't really think about what a cool thing it is that you have these vows. So you can think about that now. So having the joy about getting these vows, or about coming to Dharma class, or taking care of your kid, or anything you're doing to help beings, it cements the vows in your mind. It cements the good deeds in your mind. And it sets the stage for your bodhicitta to increase. And it also, I would say, helps you to keep those vows. Okay. So if you've taken bodhisattva vows already, then you really have to sit back sometimes and just think, that's really cool that I did that. Like, in the whole world, most people have never heard about bodhisattva vows, and you know, most people don't care so much about taking care of other people. And like, gee, I care so much about it that like I made all these promises. I went to a ceremony, maybe I wore a nice outfit, I sat with my friends, I made the request. And I did it, and that's really, really cool. And maybe like I fail most of the time, but at least I have the aspiration to be a better person. And, in this world, that's kind of miraculous. So you should really think about it and be happy about it. And it can feel uncomfortable to be like, I did such a good job. I feel like maybe even especially women, and I only see women's faces right now, so I can talk to you guys like that. But I think really for women especially, it's a little uncomfortable for us to be like, oh, good for me for taking care of people. Because in our society, we're just expected to be caretakers. And we're just sort of a little bit more expected to have that compassion and sort of natural caretaking. Um, and so I think sometimes it's harder for us to rejoice for these things that are it's just sort of assumed we'll do these things. So it's very important, I think, as women, that we can get comfortable with being happy that we took care of someone and feeling proud of ourselves and feeling good about it. And like Lee, I'm going to call out Lee. Lee took care of me. I was like having some trouble in my life, and Lee was like, come to France and I'll just take care of you and don't worry about it. And Lee is like an amazing caretaker and a wonderful human being. And I was rejoicing. I'm still rejoicing for Lee for how kind she was to me a few months ago. And I suspect that Lee doesn't take that much time to sit around and think about what a cool, badass bodhisattva she is. So you should do that, and we should all try to do that and feel comfortable with doing it. Okay. Um, and the reason it's not arrogant and the reason it doesn't become an ego thing is because you're doing it for other people. Okay. The rejoicing gets you to bodhicitta, to bodhicitta quicker. And if you get to bodhicitta quicker, you get enlightened quicker, and then you can take care of more people faster. I mean, when you hear Geshe Michael talk, he sounds pretty damn proud of himself for all the cool stuff he does. Can we agree to that? So it's an example for us that we should also feel proud of the way that we take care of other people. Okay, so be happy about it. Okay. So Master Shantideva divides being happy into two parts. So you need to be happy for yourself, and then you have to be happy that you're making other people happy. Okay. So why should we take joy for ourselves? We're going to think about how bodhicitta helps us to achieve our own goals, and this has three parts. Okay. So the first one has to do this verse that we take during the Bodhisattva vow, and I'm going to paraphrase it. So now my life finally has some meaning. Born as a human, today I've been born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I've become a child of the Buddhas. Can you show that picture that you didn't want me to make?
Sure. Oh,
This is okay, AI really, man. I spent an hour on this photo. I'm really proud of proud of this photo. Yeah, show that one. Oh, where'd it go? Can you guys see the photo? I can't. Can you guys see it? You can see it. Oh, I can't see it. That's weird. Okay. So this is a family. This is a family of, oh, there it is. Yeah. I made a family of Buddhas, and then they've adopted you into their family, and you're a child of the Buddhas. This took me so long. Some of the Buddhas they made were like stone, and I didn't think you would want to be adopted by stone statues. You can be like the boy or you can be the little girl, but those kids, they just took their bodhisattva vows, and then these Buddha mom and dads just adopted them and said, now you're part of my family. So, so I, I thought that was fun. Anyway, okay. So. So the first thing you do, it's called Sangtupa, okay? And this means to uplift your heart. So you think about something good about your practice or about your life. Like, at least I took Bodhisattva vows, or at least I came to this class on Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life, and I'm swearing to do something good with my life, okay? And when you get your bodhisattva vows, then they say that now your life finally, after all this time, your life has some meaning. Okay. And I've truly achieved like the peak of what it means to be a human. And I've been born into this family of Buddhas. And now I'm a child of the Buddhas. Yeah. So, so the first one here is finally my life has some meaning. So the Tibetan, I know Janet wants to read it. I'm going to turn off my mic, and Jackie, turn on your mic so people can hear her.
I think better if you just keep it on.
No, they won't be able to hear. You can show her. You can show her. You can show her.
낙체제부인,
Yeah, good.
낙체제부인.
Good. Okay, turn your volume on. Okay, good. Janet is one of our students with Overseas Study Program, and Janet couldn't read Tibetan 6 weeks ago. And now Janet is reading beautifully. Let's applaud Janet. Yay! And thank you to our sponsors who helped send Janet to India to study Tibetan. Yay! Okay. So Tibetan, it's Dakse Jebuyu. So finally our lives have some meaning. Okay. And then next. Okay, and I know that Lavinia is dying to read.
But I think it's because.
Okay, but be loud and show the camera.
I'll go as well.
Not yet. Just speak up.
Be loud.
Mi sipa lekparto.
Yay. Me, Sipa, Lekbarto. Perfect.
Okay.
Lavinia is also a student with the Overseas Study Program and also could not read a letter of Tibetan 6 weeks ago. So yay, Lavinia. So this means I've been born as a human. Okay. Okay, the next one that we're going to rejoice about, I'll just give Yulia my camera.
Sange riksukye.
Perfect. Yay. Guess who also couldn't read a letter of Tibetan 6 weeks ago? Okay, good. Sangye Riksukye. So we have been born into the family of the Buddhas. Sangye means Buddha, by the way. You guys can learn a Tibetan keyword today. Sangye. Everybody say Sangye.
Sange.
Sangye.
Sange.
Good. Sangye means Buddha. And Rik, is it? Yes, it is. That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. And Rik means family. Okay. And then the next one, the last one, Jack, you can fix it later.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, the next one, please.
Fork.
Jack is dying to read. Look, there are two Jacks.
Yeah, Sange Riksuke.
Yeah,
Sange Sesugiur.
right. Good. So we have become a child of the Buddhas. So these are all things we should be happy about, okay? So you can take that down. You guys can make your own Buddha family. It was really fun. I thought it was fun anyway. AI can be fun. Just yeah, okay. I was just makes me sad that I'm destroying the universe as I'm destroying our environment as I'm making the AI, but you have to work on that. We have to work on those seeds. Okay. So the family that you've been born into is totally pure and holy. So we don't want to disappoint our Buddha mom and dad. We want to behave in a way that fits the family we've been born into. Okay. So we make a promise then we won't have bad thoughts, especially selfish thoughts. Because now I belong to this Bodhisattva's family. And I'm not going to embarrass my parents by having these selfish thoughts. They'd be so embarrassed by me. Okay. And then you want to think about the rarity of getting Bodhisattva vows or the rarity of coming to this class. Um, it's extremely rare to even hear about these things, to hear the word bodhicitta, to be interested in these things, let alone to have made a promise to help other people, or let alone to just sit here in a class where all we're doing is sitting around talking about how you can help more people. So you should be happy about it, okay? Let's have a drink of water. You can all dedicate drinking the water to being able to spread more Dharma and help more people. Yay! Okay, so then we said that there were 5 ways that bodhicitta will destroy other people's suffering. So we have the bodhicitta, and then we should rejoice for how it helps us. And then we're going to talk about how bodhicitta will help the other people. You can show the slide. So the first one is that bodhicitta will destroy the Lord of Death. So if you've ever seen the Wheel of Life, it's like this wheel that shows samsara in it, like all of our suffering and the chains for how we suffer. And it's being held by this guy called the Lord of Death, who is exactly what he sounds like he is responsible for you dying, which is you're responsible for your dying, but he's the manifestation of that. So bodhicitta destroys the Lord of Death within every living being. Okay. So Buddhism is much bigger stakes than stress reduction. Like you'll see, you can take it down. You'll see a lot of stuff online about mindfulness. And, to be honest, even when I was advertising this class, I really focused on like, you know, how it will help you personally, because most people are more drawn to how something can help them personally versus how something can help you help other people. But the real point of Buddhism, it's not to like make you less stressed. Sometimes Buddhists become more stressed because they realize their life is short and they feel a fire under their butt and they want to work extra hard to get out of suffering extremely fast. Okay. Sometimes a Buddhist mind is more busy after they become Buddhist than before they became Buddhist, and all they ever thought about was themselves and their family and making money. Okay. So the point of Buddhism is to destroy death itself, which also, in a way, would be stress reduction, wouldn't it? If you don't have to worry about your death, that's like the biggest, most terribly stressful thing in all of our lives or our friends' lives. Um, I'm at the point now where I'm at the age now where like the actors I grew up with are dying. They're dying young, but they're dying. And just like in the last 2 weeks, two of them died. One was like my age, one was 48, and one I think was like 53. And they both left really young children behind. And, you know, these are like multi-millionaire people who could afford all the healthcare in the world, and death still came for them. So, so we have to remember, obviously, it's coming for us too. So, we would say if you develop this kind of bodhicitta, this real compassion, then you'll be able to not only destroy your own death, but you'll be destroying other people's death as well. But, right, I sort of already gave away the answer, but what would you need to do to be able to destroy other people's death? What would you have to do first? Huh? Yeah, you'd have to destroy your own death first. So before, yeah, good. So before you destroy everyone else's, you have to be able to destroy your own first. Um, Being compassionate, just being a nice person won't cut it. I'm sorry. And honestly, sitting on your meditation cushion and sending out light to all beings also won't stop everyone's death ultimately. What really will stop your death and other people's death? What's the only way really to stop other people's deaths?
Get enlightened.
But why? Janet said get enlightened. But what about getting enlightened will help you to stop other people's deaths?
Because other people will also come from you.
Yeah, Janet said other people also come from you. So that's good. And we can think about it. Um, the answer they gave in class was that the only way a Buddha can help you is to teach you how to stop your own death. But I personally think there's something to what Janet said about the other people's deaths and suffering coming from you. And you can think about it. I will say though, I like it when I contradict what they said in class, and what I just taught you. I will, I will say it's because I'm a little naughty, I think, but I will say that like if emptiness is true, then miracles are possible, and then it would be possible that like you could perceive someone taking your pain away. That would be possible. I mean, if you can go to a doctor and get chemotherapy and your cancer goes away, then why wouldn't it be possible to go to your Buddha Lama and say, I have a kidney stone and it really hurts and I don't feel like taking Vicodin today. Could you take the pain away? Why, if emptiness is true, why couldn't the Lama then take your pain away? What? Well, Lavinia says they can't take your karma, but you might have the karma that the Lama can take your pain away. So you can think about it. Okay. Number two is called Ulwa Jampa. Everybody say Ulwa. Actually, sorry, I mispronounced it. Ulwa Jompa. Everybody say Ulwa Jompa. So this da prefix here does a real number on the next letter, which is a pa, especially when there's a vowel there. So this should say bulwa, but it says ulwa because of that dao prefix.
English. Sorry.
That's okay. Did you forget? That's fine. That's fine. That's why they repeat after me. So ulwa jumpa, okay? So this means it destroys poverty. Your bodhicitta can destroy poverty. So this refers to both material and spiritual poverty within every being. All right. So again, the answer is the same for all of these. It can destroy their poverty, other people's spiritual and material poverty, because you can teach other people how to do it once you're a Buddha. But again, personally, my thought is if emptiness is true and you have the karma, the Buddha could perform some miracle and create like a wish-fulfilling jewel in front of you that you could sell for millions of dollars. Okay, if you have the karma, I'm not talking self-existently. If you had the karma, these things could be possible. If working can be the cause of a paycheck, then why can't asking a lama or a Buddha with faith to manifest a job for you or money for you be possible? Seems like they could both be possible to me. Okay. The third one is called Ne Jompa. Everybody say Ne Jompa. Yeah, so Ne means sickness or illness. So bodhicitta destroys all illnesses, both mental and physical, within every living being. Okay. And then the fourth one is called Cheer Dungyal Jompa. Jompa, I keep mispronouncing it. Cheer. Oh, actually, you know what? I mispronounced it because I wrote it wrong. Cheer, Sipe. Everybody say cheer. Sipe, Dungel, Jompa. Cheer. Cheer, Sipe, Dungel, Jompa. Yeah, so Dungel means suffering, and cheer means general, and Jompa means to destroy. So bodhicitta destroys the general suffering within every being around samsara. Because if you become a Buddha, then you can teach other people how to get out of suffering and how to get out of the wheel of life. Or sorry, yeah, the wheel of samsara, the wheel of this suffering life. Okay. And then the fifth one is say Kiepar. Ngandru. Ngandru, thank you for correcting me. Ngandru. Dungel. Jompa. Kiepar. Ngandru. Dungel. Jompa. So bodhicitta destroys. Hi. Whoever you are, thank you for saying the Tibetan. It destroys the suffering of the lower realms. Okay, so we Oh yeah, Yendra is lower realm. Okay, so um, that would be the animal realm, the hungry ghost realm, and the hell realm. And I'm not going to talk about these realms, except that if you can see your hand as a hand, or you could see this as a paw, you could also see it as some lower kind of rebirth. Okay. Okay, good. So not only would you be able to, with bodhicitta, be able to stop all of these kinds of sufferings for other people, but you'd be able to stop the causes of their suffering because you'd be able to teach them about karma and emptiness and teach them how to get over the three poisons. So these are cool things about bodhicitta and things we can be happy about. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is what causes these causes of their suffering? What are the things that are causing your suffering beyond the three poisons that we talked about last week? Okay. So the first one is mental afflictions. These are called mental affliction obstacles. Okay. So this is what's a mental affliction? It's any thought that disturbs your peace of mind. So like anger, jealousy. We'll go into all of them next class. Um, but it's anything that's sort of prickly, okay? And the Tibetan for a mental affliction obstacle is Nyundrup, or sorry, Nyundrup. Everybody's saying Nyundrup. Nyundrup. So these are obstacles to nirvana, okay? And nirvana is the permanent ending of all your negative thoughts and emotions. So that means, that implies, right? That just says that all of your mental afflictions when you get to nirvana are gone, which means obviously the thing that's blocking you from nirvana is your mental afflictions, it's your anger, your jealousy, your depression. What else is there? Your laziness, doubt. We'll go over all of them next class. Don't worry. Um, but it was funny. I was looking for a photo and I kept getting photos of kids having like full out temper tantrums. But like most of us don't have temper tantrums, hopefully, on a daily basis. But we do have irritation daily, or we do have like this little kid is like, those aren't the right gummy bears. That, that's not what I really wanted. I mean, dinner was almost close to what I wanted, but like the chef keeps making mushrooms and I don't even like mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but the girl sitting to my right doesn't like mushrooms. Okay. Or man, I went to the restaurant and I ordered momos, and the momos were perfect except for the cheese, and I'm vegan. I'm not vegan, but the girl across from me is vegan. Or for once, I'm with people who are more picky eaters than me, and it's delightful um, to not be the pickiest eater in the room for once. Or I ordered momos, and momos, by the way, are Tibetan dumplings, and they're wonderful, and I eat them every day here. But the momos like were perfect except for the black pepper that they put. Why did they ruin the perfectly good momos with the black pepper? That one is mine, okay? And then I make this silly face. And then I either go to bed hungry or I eat the momos, but I'm just a little tiny bit sad about it, okay? And that's where most of us are with everything all the time. We just live in a state of mild discontentment and mild dissatisfaction with everything. Isn't samsara great? Okay. Um, anyway, I thought that picture with the kid was just perfect. So thank you, AI, for making my life easy for once. Okay. Um, So these are mainly, like I said, they're kleshas, they're mental afflictions, and we have to stop them because they're stopping us from reaching nirvana. So I have this thing now, even if like I order a lot. I have this restaurant I go to, and every time I go and I say, I would like cafe latte. And the waiter repeats after me, cafe latte. And I say yes. And then I turn to my friend and I say, I bet you $100 he's going to bring me a matcha latte. And my friend no longer takes the bet because every time, if I order a cafe latte, he brings me a matcha latte. If I order a matcha latte, he brings me a cafe latte. So at this point, I used to send the drink back, but I've just given into my karma now, and I just drink whatever the guy has decided I should drink that day. Unfortunately for my friends, when he gives me the matcha latte, for some reason, I'm like super lactose intolerant with the matcha latte. So too bad for my friends, but that's what I'm like going back and forth on like, well, if I don't send the matcha latte back, my friends will have to deal with it. But if I do send it back, then I'm being irritated and I'm delaying nirvana. So I suppose I could just get the matcha latte and not drink it. I suppose that's an option. So nirvana is like it's waiting for us, but because we have these nyun drips, we can't get there. And in the highest school of Buddhism, the tendency to see things as self-existent is the worst kind of nyundrip. It's the worst one. So it's not the subtle crankiness and dissatisfaction and irritation that we feel all day, every day. It's actually our tendency to see things as self-existent. Okay. So when do we get rid of the tendency to see things as self-existent? The subtlest tendency to see things as self-existent. It's on the paper. Look, where is it? It's on the screen. It's at Nirvana. That's when we eliminate the subtle tendency to see things as self-existent. Okay, and then the other thing that we'll be able to stop when we reach bodhicitta is, can you see it? I'm on delay. Okay, is everybody say shade drip? Shade drip, not shade drip. It's high tone. Shade drip, shade drip. Good. Okay. So these are obstacles to enlightenment. And does anybody know where the guy is standing?
Somewhere in Japan.
It is. It's Shibuya?
Shibuya.
Shibuya Crossing. Um, I don't know if you guys have been to Tokyo, but this is like, I don't know, it's like a 12-way intersection and it's very disorienting. And there's always like, I want to say thousands of people crossing the street. And it's very easy to get lost there. And it's very, very confusing. I think, I don't know, the guy might be holding the map upside down, or it's obviously a map of a different city and it's not in his language and he's totally lost. So, is Shedrip means obstacles to omniscience because he's super lost and he doesn't know how to get out of Shibuya Crossing to get to enlightenment. That's his obstacle, is his ignorance of how to get to enlightenment. He's stuck there with the wrong map, okay? So, when you remove your last obstacle to omniscience, what happens when you remove your last obstacle to omniscience? Yeah, you become a Buddha. You don't need the map anymore. Even at Shibuya Crossing, you no longer need the map because you know everything. You could just emanate your own Shibuya Crossing if you felt like it. Okay. Um, So when you reach bodhicitta, then you're able to help people eliminate their shade drapes. Okay. Oh, we're almost done. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys have questions. Um, so that's good. You could take that picture down. I guess I can talk a little bit more about ignorance. So isn't it annoying that like we don't know how to get what we want? It's so annoying. Like, should I do this thing or should I do this thing? I don't know. I could travel. I could go back to the US and get a boring job. Like my program's ending soon. I could do retreat. I could go to Nepal and teach my little child, not my child, but the child I sponsored. I don't have a child, but the child I sponsored, I could teach her English all summer. What should I do? I don't know, because I can't see the future. And even like sometimes we're even ignorant to what's the most powerful karma. And in your Dharma life, that's a really annoying thing. It's a frustrating thing that starts to happen. And most of you are like ACI volunteers of some sort. So I think you can relate to it. But like, should I interpret for this class or should I interpret for that class? Should I interpret for this class or should I do my meditation today? Um, Should I go to the retreat in Kyoto or should I go to the retreat at Diamond Mountain? Or should I take care of my sick mom? And because we have these shade drips, we really are ignorant to what the highest karma is. And we're also unfortunately blocked in by time and space. We can't even see 30 seconds in the future. I mean, it sounds like, of course, we can't see 30 seconds in the future, but isn't that weird that you don't know where you'll be 30 seconds from now? And so it's very, like, I don't even know if I'll have this shirt 30 seconds from now. There's a candle on my altar. Maybe like I'll lean back and the shirt will catch on fire 30 seconds from now. So we're really like, when we hear about shade drip, we're kind of like, well, obviously we all have obstacles to omniscience, but I think we should think about really what that means, and then maybe that frustration will help burn your fire and the wish to get bodhicitta. Okay. Okay. Um, hmm, hmm. So another reason we want to get rid of our noon drips and our shade drips, which is our mental affliction obstacles and our obstacles to omniscience, is because these two things cause death and sickness. Sorry, I'm smiling because there's always fireworks or dogs howling, or now there's children screaming during my class. And the second I stop teaching, it'll be quiet in the background. So I wish you guys could hear it every class. It's become a joke in my house. Um, my friends are like cracking up. Okay, keep it together for 15 more minutes. You're gonna make me laugh. Um, so so mental afflictions and the tendency to see things as self-existent is what causes sickness and death. So that's why it's so cool that bodhicitta it fixes these, okay? And so when you take your bodhisattva vows, you are committing to learning the real causes about for why people get sick and why they die. So you should take joy in the fact that as soon as you commit yourself to ultimate happiness, um, you'll be able to eventually discover what makes people not get sick and not die. And you'll eventually become like the ultimate doctor for all beings. So that's a pretty cool, rejoiceable Lama Sarani taught me that word, rejoiceable. It becomes a rejoiceable. It really becomes a big, beautiful thing for you to be happy about. Yay. So that's the whole class. I tried to make it longer. I succeeded. But we do have 15 minutes for questions if anyone has any questions. It can be about anything. It doesn't even have to be about this class. And translators, if you have a question, that's fine too. Or any of my friends in the room. Otherwise, we can just end early.
Can I ask one?
Yeah, Janet wants to ask a
This is a short
question.
one.
Okay, Olga, we'll do you after Janet. Okay.
So
When we say nirvana, does that mean reaching the state of an arhat? Or it's, yeah.
yeah,
Yes, Nirvana is reaching the state of an arhat. So an arya is someone who's seen emptiness directly, or in Tibetan it's pakpa. And then arhat is someone who has reached nirvana. Or Drachamba? Drachamba. Drachamba?
Trompa.
Drachomba in Tibetan. Yeah, so that's a person who's reached
and which bodhisattva level?
Bodhisattva 8. So there's 10 different bhumis or bodhisattva levels that you go through. Like to be an Arya Bodhisattva, you're at the first level. And then you have to see emptiness directly again to get to each next level. And then as you go through the levels, the first 6 levels, you're perfecting one of the perfections. So at the first level, you perfect giving. And then at the second level, can you guess, you perfect
Morality.
morality. And at the third level, you perfect patience. And at the fourth level, you perfect joyful effort, good. And at the fifth level, meditation. And at the sixth level,
Wisdom.
right. And then at the seventh level, I can't remember. I don't know what it is. And then at the eighth level, you become an arhat and you have no more mental afflictions and you get rid of your tendency to see things as self-existent. And then at the ninth level, you get rid of your even to see things as self-existent as gone. And then at the 10th level, at the 10th level, I don't know what happens, but then you become a Buddha. Yay. Okay. Yeah, sure. And then I think in Bhavana Krama, there's one of the Bokjimpa books, they go through those levels and it's cool and you can study it sometime. Olga Sanchez.
Thank you. I think it's a little bit silly, my question, but I have it in mind.
I
So,
love silly questions. Good.
yeah. So I was thinking if, like, sometimes I don't know if I should dedicate things for Buddhahood or I should better like focus on the short term and just be like, it's not that I will forget Buddhahood, but I will go first for the direct perception of emptiness. So I think sometimes I don't know, like I should be dedicating this for Buddhahood, this for direct. Maybe my guess is like maybe I'm losing part of the good deeds by dedicating so long. First, I should reach this. I don't know.
I think you can cheat and say, I dedicate this to seeing emptiness directly and becoming a Buddha as quickly as possible, if that makes you most comfortable. But you can also just dedicate to Buddhahood because if you're a Buddha, then it implies you have seen emptiness directly. So either is fine. But I wouldn't just dedicate to seeing emptiness directly. I would do both or I would do Buddhahood. Anyone else? Questions?
I have a question, Rebecca.
Oh, yes. Hello, Cherry.
Hello. I think I asked you this 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it's still it's still eating me away because
Okay.
and this is about boundaries, and then people who, let's say, have done you wrong, right? And
Hmm.
then I'm just thinking about a specific situation where I was in this off Broadway show, right? Anyway, they really did me dirty. I had to quit. So it's still going on. Part of me doesn't want to celebrate their going on because do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
do.
so that's a question, I guess, about what do you do when you have situations where I guess it becomes part of that anxiety, the cycle of anxiety that you think about because they did something to you that was very harmful, right? So yeah,
So,
just
so
thoughts.
is the question that like they did something harmful and they're successful and you're unhappy that they're successful and what do you do about it? Is that the
So
question?
so yes, there's that, and then um, talking about seeds in terms of because as someone had just said earlier, everything that we see that's part of our mind, right? Like whatever
Yeah.
seeds from before, and so then this was making, like, when it was happening, I kept thinking about this. I was thinking, oh my God, what seed did I plant? Why is this, like, why is this happening to me? So that was sort of
Yeah.
eating me away. And then I had to push someone away who was still part of it, even though she
Hmm.
knew what they had done. Because as she said to me, oh, this is a great opportunity. So,
Right.
so yeah, just thoughts on.
Yeah. I had someone do me dirty recently, and it not only hurt me, it hurt a lot of people. So, and it made a lot of trouble in my life and a lot of trouble in a lot of people's lives. But these people who did me dirty, are still very successful. And so I am actually dealing with a similar thing now. Um, well, one, it sucks when that, I mean, it does objectively, it does suck when that happens. So I'm sorry that happened to you, and I do understand it, because I'm going through it now. So one, I think it's important, a lot of times as Buddhists, especially in our community, there's some sort of like, my friend calls it spiritual bypassing, where someone does you dirty and then your friends are like, well, it's empty and it's your karma. And so you feel as though you're not even allowed to process the negative feelings you're having, and that you just shouldn't have negative feelings because you should just understand it's empty. Um, but that person did hurt you. They did take advantage of you. It was a bad situation. And so I think it's important that we don't just push the feeling away and say, I'm not feeling it, because you are feeling it, and that's a karma. And you have to be honest with yourself, or it will just come and bite you later. Okay. Emptiness doesn't mean that you don't get to feel your feelings. Okay. Like the feeling is also a karma. So you should take your time to process the feeling. That doesn't mean, though, that you should act out in anger or that you should try to go hurt the person who hurt you, because you did that already. And that's what made this asshole show up in the first place. You already did that. It doesn't work. And the only way to make these people stop and to make them go away is to deal with it on a karmic level. And it doesn't mean you should feel guilty, okay? Even if you know what seed you planted, it's not about feeling guilty. And honestly, in our lives, most of the time we don't know what caused this annoying situation or hurtful situation to come up in our lives. But we can look at, like, I don't know, someone took advantage of me, so, or someone did me dirty. Well, where am I being deceitful in my life? because the seeds are smaller than the results. So if someone was just, in my case, someone was kind of deceitful, and then said really icky, dishonest things about me and spread rumors, and it was really unpleasant. Where in my life am I being dishonest, deceitful? Where am I being divisive? Where am I trying to take advantage of other people so that I can be successful? And it's usually very small, subtle things, very, very small, subtle things. So you have to like, I don't remember what I said to you 3 years ago. I don't know if, I hope I'm giving you a different answer since the first one didn't make you so happy. But you have to be like a detective and then try to figure out where did I plant this seed? And then about the emotion is separate from the seed of being taken advantage of, because some people get taken advantage of and it just rolls off their back as though nothing happened and they can move on. But if you're having this feeling, it's a sort of like, I can't believe they did this to me, or it's a hurt feeling, or you feel angry, then that's a different seed. And then you have to investigate, well, where am I making other people feel angry? Or where am I making other people feel cheated? And then you have to attack that. But I think it is important, like, look, if someone, it's like a domestic violence situation or something. We don't ever say in Buddhism, oh, you know, you should stay with the guy abusing you because you planted the seeds. Yeah, you planted the seeds for violence, but you need to get out of that situation and protect yourself. Your body is also a human body and deserves to be protected. And you should get out of the bad situation, avoid the bad situation, and then when you're safe, plant the seed so it doesn't happen again. And then I would say that's the same with your situation, is deal with the emotional thing, and then at the same time try to plant the seeds so it doesn't happen again. But I don't think like just saying, oh, it's my karma, I shouldn't feel anything. It doesn't work for us because you're already feeling the feeling. You can't push it back down. You can just try to deal with the seeds.
But also like I don't want them to be successful. Sorry if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
Because
that's very
then
honest and
be-
refreshing to hear someone say that. So thank
because
you for being
also
honest.
also right, I've felt, and it's not just me because I talk to other
Yeah.
people who quit, right? And there are people
Yeah.
who are still in it.
Yeah.
So the ones who quit agreed with me that it's very toxic and that it would harm a
Yeah.
community, you know, and so
Yeah.
so I don't want them to be successful, but then I'm
Right.
thinking, I mean, is it on me? Like when I do a meditation or prep for a meditation, that sometimes comes up. And then I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I don't want them to be successful. Like, and then I think,
Yeah.
am I, then I go into the cycle of, am I not doing what I'm supposed to do because I don't
Yeah.
want them to succeed? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I would flip the way you're thinking about I don't want them to be successful. And I would think of it as I don't want anyone else to be hurt. Because I think that's really, maybe there's a little ill will where you really don't want them to be successful. But look, it's in the ill will thing where I don't want people to get what they want is in the top 10 bad deeds. Oh, look at Flavia and her boyfriend. That's adorable. Hi. We all saw that. Um, it's in the top 10 bad deeds, which means we're all doing it all the time. So you don't have to feel guilty about it. But I would very much try to stop it because it's just going to hurt you. It's not your ill will towards them doesn't do anything to them. All it does is hurt your own mind. But so instead of saying I don't want them to be successful, I would just focus more on I don't want more people to get hurt and focus on like I want those people to be protected. I want those people, I don't know what the problem is, but I want those people to get paid. I want them to be treated well. I want them to be treated with respect. whatever it is that these people are doing wrong, I would concentrate on trying to give these people who are in a bad situation something positive and not think so much about, I don't want them to be successful, because that's just going to hurt you in the future. You can think about it. Okay. Okay, Lee?
So, you were talking about like deceiving, right? And so we know that small seeds grow, right? So what
Mhm.
about when we deceive ourselves? Like
Uh,
we tell ourselves like, I don't have to do that right now, or I can put that off, or that kind of small scale deception that we know it's probably not really the right thing to do. It's not like a
mhm.
major
Yeah,
transgression, but it's not healthy decision making.
right. Is it mostly about procrastinating, or
Yeah,
is it just
yeah,
about
yeah,
any?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Instagram has decided that like I keep getting these videos about procrastination, like self-help for procrastination, and I don't know how Instagram knows me so well, but so I can relate. I think most people can relate to that. The problem is when we make a habit like procrastinating, then the more we procrastinate, then the more we procrastinate,
Right.
unfortunately. So this is a horrible answer. You just have to stop. I'm so
No,
sorry. It's like the
no, it's the
worst.
perfect answer. It makes sense. You're just reinforcing the habit all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like a should practice. You just have
Definitely.
to stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And should
Okay.
is a practice where you kind of feed all your demons to other demons, and then it satisfies them and turns them into bodhisattvas.
Okay.
Um, Yay. So yeah, I mean, and maybe, I don't know, this is like not karmic, but I make lists and I get joy in crossing things off my list. And you and I I think have a similar procrastination karma, so maybe this will help you. But I'm like I try to make a list. If I don't procrastinate making the list, then I try to make a list at the beginning of the day or like with my coffee in the morning. And then at the end of the day, I go back to my list and I'd like to cross things off. And, especially as an adult, no one is applauding you for doing your laundry. You don't, Lee was like, were you a second grade teacher?
Oh, I've taught all the grades from kindergarten up through sixth grade. I've taught everything, but
Yeah. So
mostly
like,
lower grades.
yeah, no one's giving Miss Lee a gold star for doing her laundry, or you don't get a lollipop for like cleaning your room. It's so stupid. Why don't we get gold stars and lollipops? During COVID, I literally made a chart, a sticker chart, and if I did my meditation and I didn't spend 5 hours on Telegram, not Telegram, 5 hours on TikTok, and I went and worked in my garden and I exercised. For every one of those, I got a sticker and I rewarded myself. So maybe you have to make yourself a sticker chart, Miss Lee, or it really, it's so stupid, but it really helped. Yeah, yeah, Cherry wrote an amazing novel and she gave herself gold stars every day she wrote. So I would
Okay.
do something like that
Okay.
because then it's actually a rejoicing practice. It
Yeah, yeah.
forces you to do it. When you put the gold star, it forces you to rejoice. So
Okay.
that's my thought. And also you could have a karmic business partner where you have a friend who's procrastinating and you can just check in with them in a non-annoying way a couple of times a week and say, "Hey, I know you were trying to work on that novel or your memoir. How's that going?" And then dedicate it towards not procrastinating yourself. And then the gold sticker chart or the list crossing off will work.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my thought. Cool. Great questions. Anyone else? I know, but I'm asking if anyone else has any other questions. Jack says that having an accountability partner helps him very much. Okay, good. Thank you very much, everyone. So let's dedicate the good deeds. We can dedicate learning about bodhicitta and dedication and rejoicing, and we can dedicate it towards getting bodhicitta in this life so that we can become a totally enlightened being and have the wisdom and ability to help all beings at all times. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, translators. Thank you, tech team. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye.